Halloween in my kitchen, so come on in and I'll show you what's brewing. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Carl from the movie Up. Now, my name is Roy, and I am a home cook and amateur baker, and I am here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Now today I am part of a collaboration that was begun by Dee over at Dish with Dee, and this is for Halloween sweets and treats. So I have two different treats for you today. One's more sweet and one's more savory. Now, the costume that I am wearing, I actually bought a few years ago because I was going to go out as Carl from the movie Up. I had a bunch of balloons ordered and everything, but my body rejected the idea of going out. If you don't know, I have myopathy and neuropathy, meaning my muscles and nerves don't always work correctly, which is sometimes you can hear in my jaw. I had a whole thing going on with some friends who would dress up as other characters from the movie, and it didn't work out because my body didn't feel like going. And this was quite a few years ago, so it's a little bigger. I mean, this shirt was snug on me. I mean, and when I mean snug, I was like barely able to button it. So now I can wear it and I look like I'm in my grandfather's clothes. Okay, so the first little treat that we're gonna do is the sweet treat, because this one we have to put in the freezer for a little bit. It's for my banana ghost pops. Okay, so let's go over the ingredients quickly. I have 2 bananas. I have a 1/4 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. I have 4 teaspoons of sugar replacement. I use Swerve, but you can use anything that's a 1-to-1 replacement for sugar. If your sweetener is stronger, you'll have to adjust to match 4 teaspoons. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, and I have 12 Lily's chocolate chips. Now, when I originally made this, I made just 1 banana, so you can cut this down, but I figured I can have them on hand if I want to grab something. So the first thing, I'm going to move these things out of my way so I can cut my bananas. Oh, and 4 popsicle sticks. You're going to need some popsicle sticks as well. So I'm just going to peel the bananas and get rid of these strings. I don't know if anyone else has an issue with the banana strings. They just creep me out. I guess that's my Halloween confession for the day. Something that creeps me out. Okay, so this is very easy. You could do this with the kids. I'm just going to cut the bananas in half. I mean, roughly, it doesn't have to be precise. And just insert a popsicle stick into each one. Try not to go through the banana like I just did. Okay. Then we're going to put that aside, and I'm going to mix up the quick yogurt covering for these. So you're just going to add the sweetener into the yogurt along with the vanilla. And you could add more vanilla. You could change up the flavoring if you wanted. Just mix that quickly together. Now this yogurt has been sitting out for about 15-20 minutes just to get it a little looser, to warm it up a little bit. And that is all there is to it. Now, bring in I have a little tray lined with parchment paper so that I can set these on there and put them in the freezer. So I'm just going to take, now you could try dipping these or like rolling them into the yogurt, but I just find it just as easy to just coat them with a spoon. You want to do a fairly even coating. This is where they get their ghostly appearance, as well as our chips, which I will talk about in a second. So just coat each one. Now I'm not going to make you watch me coat each one, so I will be back in a moment. Okay, so I've got all of the bananas coated with the yogurt. Now what I'm going to do is take 3 of the Lily's chips for each banana, and if my hands will stay steady, I'm going to make the little ghost eyes and mouth. Having steady hands is helpful, but it is what it is. Okay, so see, you got one ghost right there. I'm going to just get the rest of these all faced up, and then I will be right back. Okay, so there you have our little banana ghost pops. Now you want to put these in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes at least. If you do leave them in longer, which I had them in for a while, once you take them out, just give them about 5 minutes to warm up a little bit and you'll be fine. They are really good, but I will show you that when they are done. Now, one thing I forgot to mention was when I put the chips in, I put them in upside down with the points going into the banana, so that way it gave it a little more stability than just relying on the yogurt. So I'm going to throw these into the freezer and start on our next little treat. Okay, so for our savory treat, what I'm going to be doing is some hot dog mummies. So I'm going to be using my light and fluffy biscuit dough. And if you haven't seen the video for that, I will leave a card here. I also made some cinnamon rolls, which were very good, very light and very airy, and those were delicious. So what I did to adapt the biscuit dough, just a slight addition, was I have a cup of self-rising flour, or I make my own self-rising flour, and I will leave how to do that down in the description box. It's just a cup of flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. To make it a little more savory and to go with the hot dogs, I added a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now in here I have 1/4 cup of yogurt. I have 2 tablespoons of almond milk. They've both been out for about 15-20 minutes. And I have some seltzer. We're only going to use a 1/4 cup of seltzer. Now if you can't find seltzer, you don't know what seltzer is, it's basically just carbonated water. So you could use club soda or tonic water or just diet soda, especially if it doesn't have a strong flavor. I did test the biscuits with diet soda, and I really couldn't get, I mean, you could faintly taste something there, but it wasn't strong enough that it would be distracting. So you could use like a light diet soda, like maybe 7-Up or Sprite or something. And then I have, this will make 8 mummies, but we're having these for lunch. I don't need to have 4 hot dog mummies. So I have 3 hot dogs for me that are 1 bite or Blue Point each. And then I have some hot dogs, 3 hot dogs for my partner, Paul. He doesn't like the lower bite hot dogs, and that's fine. So the ones I'm using are Hebrew National 97% fat-free beef franks. But my preferred ones, which I didn't have before, and so I didn't want to open these, is the Ballpark white meat smoked turkey hot dogs. Each of these is just 1 bite or Blue Point each. So by dividing the biscuit dough into 8 instead of 6, which I do in the main recipe, the biscuit dough is going to be just 1 bite or Blue Point. The hot dog is 1 bite or Blue Point. So each hot dog is going to be 2 bites, 2 Blue Points. All right, so let me move a couple of things around and I'll be right back to get these started. Okay, so I've moved my hot dogs aside for now. Move my flour aside. What you're going to start with is the Greek yogurt and the almond milk. You want to do these two together first because you're going to add in the seltzer and you don't want to work it too much so that you destroy too many of the bubbles. That's what gives it its light and fluffy texture. So I'm just going to whisk these two together to get that yogurt thinned out a little bit so it's not as difficult to work in the seltzer. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's loosened up. It's not as stiff as it was. So I'm using a fork to mix this because I want to be as gentle as I can once I add in the seltzer. So we just need a 1/4 cup, and I hope my hands are steady and I don't spill it all in there, but we shall see. It's always an adventure in the kitchen. Okay, good. Okay, I have my Carl cane here. I don't know why. I just thought it helped bring the character to life, I guess. I don't know. Don't ask why I do things. Paul's given up on that question a long time ago. Okay, so see, it was just that easy to bring that together. Now we're going to add the wet into the flour. And just gently fold that around so that the flour incorporates, but you don't mess too badly with the seltzer bubbles. But once it's incorporated, it's okay to press it a little bit to mash it together. Now we are going to break this out and work it on the counter. This is basically the 2-ingredient dough with just 2 extra ingredients, and the proportions are different. So, but it is a big improvement on the 2-ingredient dough. It doesn't have that density that the 2-ingredient dough has. So let me get a little flour for the counter because we are going to roll these out. So let's get that out of there. And the first thing you're going to do is bring this dough together. So just push it together, and then you're going to take it, fold it and press, fold it and press, fold it and press. You're just doing that about 3 or 4 times to get everything incorporated. And then you'll have a nice soft dough there. Now, what I'm going to do is weigh this out so that I can separate it evenly. I don't know why I didn't have my scale over here. Would have been too easy, I guess. So, let's see. 286 grams. Alexa, what is 286 divided by 8?
286 divided by 8 is 35.75.
So about 30.
I have ideas for funny gifts from Amazon.
Alexa, stop. Just goes on and on. Okay, so about 36 grams each. That's 49, that's too big. 36, perfect. I'm going to measure these out and then I will be right back. All right, so we have our dough portioned out, what I'm going to do is dry off these hot dogs, because you want the dough to stick to them, and if there is moisture, it's going to be less likely to happen. And I have my toaster oven, because this is just a small amount. I didn't want to turn on the oven. You could obviously bake them in the oven, but I have it on 400, and these are going to cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. Depends on your oven, on the moisture in the dough, all of that stuff. So we just dry this plate off to put the hot dogs back on. Okay, so we're going to take each one of these and just roll it out into a long strip. Like that. And then I'm just going to take my knife and cut long, thinner strips out of that, like so. Then just pick up some of the dough, wrap it around the hot dog, and try to attach it where you can, if you can, but it's sticking to the hot dog pretty well. And then grab up another piece, go in maybe the opposite direction, and if it breaks a little bit, which mine did right here, it's fine, it's no big deal. There we have our first hot dog mummy. So I'm going to set that on the baking tray, and I'm going to finish these up, and then I will be back and show you that even though I have only 6 hot dogs but 8 balls of dough, I'm going to show you how to make a little garlic knot real quick. So I'll be right back once I get all these mummies mummified. Okay, so I'm on the last of the hot dogs, and I figured I'd just show you one more time. Now this is a great recipe that you can do with the kids. I'm sure they'd have fun making their little mummies out of the dough and the hot dogs. And I just usually put them up in whatever direction looks a little more mummy-like. But there we have our hot dog mummies. But like I said, we have a little extra dough here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to roll this out into a bit of a log, and it'll snap back a little bit, but if you keep going, it'll finally give in. So you have something, I don't know, maybe 8 inches, 9 inches long. So I'm just going to wrap it around the first 2 fingers a couple of times, and then I'm going to take this tail, tuck it up in between, and then make sure you pinch the edge here so it doesn't fall apart. And there you have a little knot. We will spray that with a little butter spray and sprinkle it with a little garlic salt. So one more time. For the people in the nosebleeds, as they say. I think it's a sports reference. I don't do sports, I don't know. All right, so again, we have the long tube, wrap it usually twice around. You'll have this tail, push it basically between the 2 fingers holding it up. Press this edge in. And there you have your little garlic knot. So let me spray those with a little spray, which I know this is a shock, but I did not get out. Where did I put it? I reorganized the refrigerator and now I know where nothing is. And I'm going to spray the mummies as well, just a little bit. And my garlic salt. Just like a little sprinkling, not too much, because these are small little rolls. So you could do the hot dogs as well, but I've already put the garlic powder and onion powder inside, so I'm not worried about that. Now I'm going to throw them into my toaster oven at 400, 12 to 15 minutes. Check it around 12. See how they're going and check the bottoms, make sure they're not getting too dark on the bottoms. And I will be back to show you the end result. Okay, so here are our hot dog mummies, ready for dipping. You want them to cool just a little bit. Now, I did turn them over about 10 minutes in because the bottoms were getting a little too dark. So you do want to check them just to make sure the bottoms, and it may be that I'm using the toaster oven, which is a more compact space. You may not have the same issue if you use the oven. And then here are our little garlic knots. Delicious little treats. 2 bites for one of these hot dogs. And just 1 bite for one of these garlic knots, because there's no hot dog in it. Okay, so for 1/8 of the biscuit dough, I'm not going to count in the hot dogs for calories because it'll depend on what hot dog you use. But if you are following calories, these are 61 calories for one, like this little garlic knot would just be 61 calories. The fat would be 0.2 grams. The carbs would be 12.2 grams. And the protein would be 2.3 grams, and that's just for the biscuit. You will have to put in whatever hot dogs you were using if you are following calories or macros. So let me set these aside, and I will get our little banana ghost pops out of the freezer. They may not be fully set yet, but I'm sure they're set enough to show you. Okay, so here are our little banana ghost pops. This is a great treat for kids, great treat to make with kids, both of these are. And they're not fully set yet, they still have a little more freezing to go. But this would be 0 bites, 0 blue points. Now the calories for each of these based on a 6-ounce banana, and that's just what came up, so that's what I used. You would have to adjust depending on the weight of your banana, but they came out to 64 calories. The fat would be 0.4 grams. The carbs would be 19.3 grams, and the protein would be 2.1 grams. Very nice, tasty treat for the kids or for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this little Halloween treat. We have a sweet treat and a savory treat. 2 treats for the price of 1. That's always a plus in my book. So this was part of the Halloween Sweets and Treats collaboration that was started by Dee over at Dish with Dee. So check out her channel as well as all of the other people who are doing this collaboration. I will have them all linked below in the description box, as well as the measurements for making your own self-rising flour. Up here in the Northeast, it's not an easy thing to find. So if you need to make your own and not have 2 different types of flour on hand, win-win. So I wish you all a very happy Halloween. This is my favorite holiday of the year. And I'm so glad that I was able to be part of this collaboration. So if you liked this collaboration, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. And there is a bonus reason to subscribe to the channel because I have a giveaway that was announced yesterday for my subscribers. So check out that video. I'll leave a card here. I'll also put a link in the description box below to the giveaway video. Hit the notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video, and comment down below if you enjoy these quick little treats that you can do with the kids, and I think the kids would definitely enjoy them. And you can follow me on social media. Here is my Instagram handle, as well as 2 Facebook groups that I am part of. One is my own, Recipes with Roy, and the other is Finding Our Way, W-E-I-G-H, and that I co-admin with Jennifer Lynn from the Jennifer Lynn channel, as well as Bree Coleman from Balancing Life with Bree. So Paul and I are going to enjoy our mummy lunch and then probably have a little ghostly snack afterward. So until next time, bye.